Hello there, thank you for joining us here on New Vision TV, and we are here for the Handshake, where we discuss our daily issues. Yeah, you'll forgive me, I'll have to remind you, daily issues, because you don't know what's going on in the economy. When things are happening, you think, that's Uganda. You need to understand these things. And this is why I have my colleague Paul Busharizi, our very senior business reporter here and journalist. He has been there. He knows these things. He tries to make me understand, as we both, we all understand as you watch and listen in. So, Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How is the economy?
It's doing fine. Although last week, the Uganda Bureau of Statistics released results that showed inflation had gone up to about 6.8%.
Again.
Yeah, mostly driven by food. We didn't produce as much food as we normally do because of the dry season.
Yes.
Food prices are a big component of what they use to calculate inflation. So when food prices go up, the prices go up.
So food prices are still high. The other day someone was asking me, by the way, has the sugar price gone down? Why don't you forget about sugar? Do other things. Sugar is even not healthy for you. I'm just saying.
You don't take sugar?
No, I don't.
You paused. I think you do, but okay.
Right. Now, Paul, the youth were allocated some funds.
Budget. In
the budget, of course. But it has been happening. This has been going on for some time now. And we get to see lots of issues. People are complaining the youth are not, paying back. Others have called them lots of names. It's a bad debt. They should forget about it. Someone actually said they thought it was a political gift of sorts.
Well, first of all, there's been a youth program that has been run under the Ministry of Labor and Gender, for about maybe about 3 years now. And in this project, they have some funds that were allocated previously.
Yes.
And they collect youth together and tell them to come up with programs and then lend them the money. And then the idea is that the money comes back and it becomes a revolving fund.
Yes.
So if they dedicate money to Kampala district, for example, if they do 100 billion, you guys should borrow it and then pay it back. They've had some issues with some youth just either absconding the money or that kind of business. But I think it has more success than failure. It's just that the failure sounds a bit more spectacular. Some youth have been actually arrested for defaulting. But I think it's still early days to tell, but I think there's some good work being done.
We're always expecting the worst from the youth.
Not from the youth. I really don't expect worse from the youth, but I always have doubts about government programs that are run through the government.
Okay.
But this one, they determined that they have to pass it through government, because passing through the banking system, the interest rates are too high.
Yes.
So they took it upon themselves in gender. They set up some framework. It seems to be working. Let's see what happens. It's still early days to determine. But who knows, if they can be consistent, over 10 years, 15, 20 years, it might have some transformative effect.
Paul, consistent in not paying back?
No. In the program, on keeping it funded. Because initially, I think they started with a few districts. I think now they're trying to roll it out all over the country.
Okay.
So the consistency in funding and execution, if that can, I think can do good things. I mean, I've seen testimonies of youth, they come together as 10 and they start a piggery, and within a year or two they have quite substantial things, and they're finding the thing also is that they kind of learning on the job. Business is not automatic, so they make losses, they win, they lose, but it's good. I think it's good.
So how do these youth access this money?
So there's a program in the gender ministry.
Right.
I think it's called the Youth Livelihood program.
Yes.
So you get yourselves together.
Right.
It's not one person. The way the program is structured, you have to come together as a group. You hopefully know each other. You trust each other and all that kind of business. You have your project.
Trust in money.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, you have your project. You say we're going to start piggery. Many of them are rural, so they do rural things, piggeries. I've been in some interesting cases of even doing waraji. But they find their way, and then from the sales of the thing, they pay back the loan, and it hopefully revolves
Okay.
like that. Yeah.
So when they get this money, does it, I mean, like you said, applies everywhere. How are they supposed to pay back? In how long are they supposed to do that?
I've forgotten the details, but I think there are short-term loans. They're not long-term 10-year loans or things like that. Maybe 6 months to about 3-year loan period. It's just to get these youth off their feet. It's not for building factories and stuff. But I can see a natural progression would be that if you or what the designers of the program at the ministry are hoping is that this is your step into business.
Okay.
If you get better, maybe you go into maybe microfinance, you lending, borrowing from there. Then you get better, you go into commercial banks. Who knows? You might even get to development banks when you start building factories. This is just a way in, and for many people, that's all they need. They just need
a starting point.
Absolutely.
So, do you think this can help the country in any way? Is it helping in any way? Are we seeing any progress somewhere?
Look, I mean, the theory is that it could help. My challenge is always execution, and government is just not the best agency to do anything that is business related. Okay. Their motives, their incentives are totally many times anti-profit and that kind of thing. But in theory, it could do very well.
Sure.
I have my doubts about whether government can execute, but I'll be glad if they can. I'll be glad to be wrong.
Wow. There you have it. So if you think you need a starting point, that's it. The Ministry of Gender and Labor, you can approach them, see how you can access these loans, because they are for the youth, and I think the youth need to be pushed into doing something for themselves and for the country as well. And thank you so much, Paul, for that.
You're welcome.
Yes.